Well, hello and welcome to another technical episode of Downhill Smooth Tarmac. The eagle-eyed among you will notice that we are in Dave's workshop today, and that is because I'm still learning about wheel building. So Dave is taking the lead today, and we're going to be talking about a really special set of vintage-ish wheels that we're building and some different lacing.
Yep.
So my knowledge is shining through. Dave, tell us about the wheel.
So we've already built the rear, which is this one. So it's a Gran Robert hub set in lovely gold. This is the rear, radial spokes on the non-drive side, and on the drive side, which is the special bit I suppose, we've gone crow's foot. First crow's foot wheel I've laced like this, so we've got one radial spoke through the middle, and then either side we have the crow's foot crossed spokes. So the idea is it's pretty strong, but also lightweight.
And it's quite an old school thing, isn't it, crow's foot? Because it was brought up by one of your reps, wasn't it, that came in when we were building some other wheels?
Yeah, Dave from Walkers.
Dave from Walkers.
Yeah.
And I think we can see it coming back. I think it looks ace, and it does make a lighter wheel, doesn't it? It's light and strong.
Lighter, yeah.
So that's the rear one. Tell us about the front one we're going to do to go with it. So the matching one.
Yeah.
Plan for that one to keep it, because we're going as light as possible. I'm not sure what these wheels are going to go on yet. Possibly a 653 Peugeot that I'm building, or maybe something else.
Yeah, so we've got the gold front hub. Yeah.
Gran Robert.
If you haven't
heard of them, look them up, because we had to.
Yeah. Very, very smooth bearings, lovely.
Yeah, I rebuilt those.
Yeah, definitely. And then the rim. So bronze unbranded rim. Single wall, no eyelets, which has been a bit of a pain from a spoke length calculation point of view, believe it or not. So we're going to do this radial, both sides.
So we're going to go radial for this. These rims actually have proven to be pretty strong. They're the same rims that I used for the single speed gravel bike that you might have seen in one of the other videos. If you haven't, I'm going to do one of those things where we link it to up here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to hand over to Dave. We're going to switch the camera angle and we're going to talk through in pretty much real time how to lace it up and how to get it all true, and we'll end up with a really nice wheel set, and we'll see what they look like when they're done. But before that, we'll roll the credits.
So we're going to start with the build. Always start at the valve hole. These rims, the holes are off centre, so we're going to start with that one there to the right side of the hub. I'm also going to line up the Gran Robert logo in this with the valve hole, which is just a bit of a wheel builder's thing.
Yeah, it's got to be right.
So we're going to start off there. Holes are a bit tight.
I'll take it with a radial. You're just lacing straight. You don't have to worry about twisting it, do you?
That's right.
So the logo will be wherever you put it in the first place.
Yeah.
See, I'm learning.
So I'm just going to do one side first. No point in being fancy about the way we do it. Just counting every odd spoke on the rim, every odd hole on the rim.
You're threading those from the outside in all the way around because it's radial.
That's right, yeah. Yeah.
So gives us a benefit of radial? Let's have a benefit first and then maybe a downside.
Easier to build. The spokes are shorter, so in theory less weight. And they look nice too. All lacing looks nice, but you know it looks slightly different.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's it really.
So a bit lighter.
Yeah.
Looks nice.
Yeah.
Easy to build.
Yeah.
Okay. What's the downside of radial?
So there's no what they call tangential spokes away from the flange of the hub.
Right.
So there's actually no radial strength.
Okay.
So if it was a disc brake or a drive side of the rear wheel, where you've actually got a torque acting on through the spokes going round the wheel, it would just bend like that.
Right. So this is a rim brake only situation.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
So if you have tangential spokes going either way from the hub, it gives you an awful lot of strength radially. So it can react to the torque applied from brakes and pedalling drive.
So downside is weaker then, basically.
Yes.
But for road duties, they're more than suitable.
Yeah. For road rim brakes, not a problem. It's really only a front wheel thing.
Yeah.
You do see radial on the non-drive side of rear wheels for lightness. Sometimes see it on the drive.
Bit of a resurgence, didn't it?
Yeah, there's quite a lot to it. Yeah. But when you've got a disc brake, it's no good. Wrong hole.
I can see you used to go in every other there, aren't you? Because that's...
I don't tend to do that many radial, really, I suppose. I suppose it's with the demise of rim brakes. Although I built a nice set yesterday with carbon rims, radial front, so rim brake. But that was only 20 hole. This one's 36, so it takes about twice as long to get round all the holes.
Yeah, it's going to look quite something as a 36. I hope it's going to look all right.
Yeah. Now I'm getting sort of opposite now, diagonally opposite, so there's not so much room to get the nipple on the end.
Yeah.
Might have to start using the different tools.
Is it easier to true a radial or harder?
It's no different at all.
Same principle.
Yeah. Yeah, that's going to be all right. Never really confidence building wheels, but getting spoke lengths right. It's probably the hardest bit, actually. But sometimes you never really know until you start building and getting part way through that you've got everything right.
But you do sort of, I've only built a few wheels with your supervision so far that I've built properly, like the bodge ones that I did for myself in the workshop. You are right, you can almost tell at this point when you're just starting the lacing whether it's going to be an easy one to do or whether it's not quite right.
Yeah, and I can sort of feel that this is now working out quite nicely. The hub feels in about the right place, centre wise, and the spokes are going in quite nicely. A little bit of experience with these rims now. They have been a little bit unusual. I don't know why, couldn't work it out. But now that we've built a few of these, I'm getting a better feel for them.
Yeah, they do seem to have turned out to be a really nice rim, those bronze rims.
Yeah, they do.
They came from the old rally shop in Burton-on-Trent, old Sheffield Cycles. They were donated to me when I started my shop. And they've been lying around forever, but there was a lot of pairs of them, so I wonder if the chap who had Sheffields maybe had an issue building wheels with them as well, and that's why he didn't use them.
Could be, yeah. They are nice. They're lightweight. They seem quite strong. Certainly with 36 holes, they're strong.
I've hammered those ones on my single speed on the gravel,
yeah,
and they're still true-ish, pretty much. Not bad for my first go.
No. I thought I'd got enough spokes. Got one extra. That means I've missed a hole. No.
Doesn't look like it. You miscounted.
I have miscounted.
It's better to have more than less.
It is. So there we go. That's one side.
Okay.
I think that's beginning to look quite nice.
Smashing.
So we've got both sides radially laced with Sapim race stainless steel spokes and Sapim brass nipples, 12mm. So the next step is nipple driver, tighten them all up a bit. So I usually start at the valve hole and to the end of the threads like that. Do a couple either side of the valve hole, then swizz it round to the joint of the rim and do a couple there.
Is that just for even
I just do it for even, yeah, and it just
tension.
Makes it a bit easier in the long run. It probably doesn't, to tell you the truth, but it's the way I do it. I've got into the habit of doing it. And now what I should start to feel when I get to the end of the threads on the spoke there, is it just beginning to tighten up a bit. It gives me another good warm feeling that the spoke lengths are right. And I can just feel this beginning to tighten up now, which is quite nice.
Now just going to the ends of the threads?
Just to the ends of the threads on all of them. So the idea there is that they're all the same length. So the wheel should be pretty round and should be pretty much in the centre. So it's a good starting point. One of the beauties of a single wall rim like this, rather than a deep section rim of any type, is you can see the ends of the nipples, so you can get the nipple driver on quite nicely. Okay, so we've got both sides of the spokes in there, both sides radial. Got a little bit of tension coming in the spokes now, which is quite nice. It's a case of just seeing how round the wheel is. It's not bad, actually. True wise. Drop the there. So there's some bits there where it just needs tightening up on the high spots. So that's the first point. When you're doing these high spots, you always do two spokes next to each other, so you don't go out of true. Like that. That's quite high here. And that for a first go round isn't bad. So next stage is the wheel in the middle. Some people use a dishing tool for this, but I find it just as easy to flip the wheel over.
So you just use one side of the truing stand?
Yeah, I haven't got a fancy truing stand. The Park Tools truing stand, both jaws come in at the same time with a knob in the middle.
Yeah.
I haven't got a fancy one like that. This is just dead simple.
But you can end up with those Park Tools ones, you can end up holding one of the sides open anyway. You jam it open.
Yeah. I don't. This has got dial gauges on it as well if I wanted to put them on, but I find it easier to just do it manually. Nice and analog. So actually, it's not too bad. This it's actually pretty much in the middle. What I do is gradually move this in. Yeah. So what I'm going to just do is take a couple of high spots out. I'm going half a turn on each spoke at the time, chipping away at it. What I'm going to actually do now, it's almost in the middle. I'm going to go around the whole wheel and just tighten up the spokes half a turn each to get a bit of tension in there. You can hear the little creaking now, bit of tension coming in. That's a loose one. You naturally get them start tightening up because I've tightened the spokes the opposite side. So you've got to be careful that you don't tighten one side and not the other, otherwise you end up with an egg-shaped wheel. So I'm still trying to put almost a turn into it. So I'm just going to see how true it is. It's within 3 or 4 mil already, which is pretty good. Drop this underneath. It's touching all the way around. Okay, so I do this by ear as much as sight. So where it touches, you can hear it.
It's got a high spot there.
Yeah, so pull in from about there. So now I'm working in quarter turns now. That's gone, that high spot's gone. Another one there. That's pretty good. There's a little bit of a spot there where it's a little bit high, but that's actually where the join is. They often get that where the join is. So I'm not going to worry about that for now. So next step is to see. So again, you can hear that touch in there. But what I'm going to do before I get rid of that is flip the wheel over.
See how central you are.
See how central it is. Actually, it's pretty good. So I can now just start tweaking those spots out. At the moment I'm tightening spokes, I'm not loosening any spokes. to get it central. Better. So I've got quite a gap forming here. So I'm going to tighten up this side to bring it closer. Just working in quarter turns, baby steps. Getting pretty tight now, some of them. What I'm going to do now is find a spot where, just there, it's right next to this here. I'm going to get this gauge in the middle now, so I'm going to flip it over, keeping that spot in the same place. And okay, so this gauge is pretty much central now, so I know that if I can centre to that, I'll be doing well. I've got quite a few here now, so I'm going to start there and work back.
And you're just going through sound as well as anything with that.
Generally, I'm using
catching, just pull it away.
Yeah.
Still quarter of a turn.
Yeah. Tongues come out now.
That's it. Deep in thought. Full concentration.
So, other than a little bit of a catch there, actually there's a true in pass now and a roundness and offset, etc. Central pass. That's pretty good. It's running quite nicely. So, all the spokes are lovely and tensioned. It's pretty true. It's pretty round. It's nice and central. But what we need to just do now, although this is radial, we still need to do this, and that is just to de-stress the spokes a little bit. You can hear the little creaks. It's just the spoke nipples and the ends of the spokes all bedding in a little bit. The problem with doing this is that it will put it slightly out of true. But you'd rather do this now than when it's on the road, basically. Wheels do move, basically. They're always settling. Mechanical things are always settling. So that's running quite nicely now.
It certainly looks nice and round from here.
Yeah. So it should roll round, and then if the cones are set up right in the hub, it should roll back like that. And because the valve hole is the lightest bit of the rim, if it's nice and balanced, that valve hole, which is there, should end up at the top.
Sit at the top.
Because that's by a hole that's about 1/4 inch diameter, lightest bit, although there are usually pins in the join that should sit at the bottom.
Look at that.
So there we go, look at that. Lovely jubbly. Happy with that. So, what we're going to do now is put a little bit of a sticker on, hand built by Pickering's Bikes. Put it across the join at the bottom of the rim.
While you do that, I'll tell you what we didn't mention is what spokes you use.
Yeah, Sapim Race.
People will ask.
Sapim Race spokes, stainless steel. They are 289mm long.
And being race, that's double butted, isn't it? Is that right?
Yeah. So, yeah, these spokes then are thicker here and here than they are in the middle. So you can see there's a bit of a ridge goes down, which actually takes metal out of the spokes, but also relieves a bit of tension in the spoke and apparently makes them a little bit stronger.
Right, so there we have it. Thanks to Dave, we've got a beautiful set of lightweight bronze rims and Gran Robert, is that right? Gran Robert hubs.
Gold hubs.
Spinning beautifully. Don't they look great? So that's it. Now all I've got to do is find a bike to put them on, which is going to be another video entirely. Got a lovely 653 Peugeot that's crying out for these, to be honest, so that's probably where they're going to go. I think it's the right kind of wheel for that bike, and as usual you have to wait for another video. It's how I keep you coming back. I'll say a big thank you to Dave and Pickering's Bikes for facilitating the build today. You're always very accommodating to all my bicycle shenanigans.
Bribed with biscuits and
bribed with biscuits and sandwiches and all that whatnot. And so with that, it's time for the sign off. So I hope your next ride is downhill with smooth tarmac. Keep your wheels spinning, keep your rubber on the road, knobblies on the trail. Look out for each other. Nod cyclist to cyclist, I've added that in.
Yeah.
Look out for each other.
Say hello.
Say hello. Say good morning. Don't be rude. If you get a minute, like and subscribe, but don't let that stop you getting out and riding your bike, even if it's miserable and raining like it has been with Storm, what's it called?
Babette.
Until next time, thank you for watching.
Well done.
Absolute sausage.